This is Pinball Podcast. My mom's gonna talk now. Episode 31. Booyah!
Guys, the next thing that I need to tell you about, and I hope that you are ready for this, is the fucking Trash Talkers Invitational. So after the main event on Saturday, after the finals ended, this is like 10 o'clock at night, the Trash Talker Invitational started. So Chuck Webster, Chuck, you're the best. He was like the guy who kind of put all this thing together. The winner got this really awesome trash can trophy. It was so freaking fun. He organized everything, and so all of us after the finals were like meeting over at like, you know, in this one area, and we were going to be playing some pinball. So, you know, Chuck is like, okay, here's the rules, gives us the rules, and it was basically the same format as the main tournament, except it was much smaller. So we played one round of 4 games, and there were 4 people in each group. So all the groups are getting called, and everybody's got their ringers. And, I mean, the ringers were, like, freaking ridiculous. I mean, like, there were supposed to be rules, I think, about, like, you know, not having any of the top, like, 20 people in the world as ringers. I guess that would be, like, you know, a really nice thing to do if you had that. But, you know, I don't know. There was a little bit of shady business with ringers. For example, I happened to be playing with someone named David Raymondson. And he wore a fake mustache, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So, but the caliber players was awesome. So, of course, I'm sitting here, and I am, like, shitting bricks, honestly. I am not afraid to talk trash, but holy shit was I intimidated. I'm not even kidding. So, turns out that, like, in the end, my group was the last one to be called. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is great. Like, you know, maybe I'll be playing with, like, Bruce or Ron, who I know can kick my ass. But, like, whatever. I was like, oh, yeah, you know, at least they're, like, you know, normal people. So in the end, here was my group. I was with Steve Bowden. I was like, okay, you know, he's, like, 4 billion times the pinball player that I am, but I know him. So, and I know he's, like, super nice. So, okay, this I'm going to consider a win, right? Then there is this, like, really shady character with this fake mustache on named David Raymondson. We're going to call that an alias, guys. So change around a few letters there and see if you can figure out who else was in my group. He happened to come in 5th in the entire Pinburg tournament. Yeah, 5th. Then we're paired up with, I'm paired up with this other guy named Adam. And I'm like, you know me, guys, like, I could walk up and, like, be standing next to George Gomez shooting the shit with him and not realize it was George Gomez. So, like, you know, it was kind of one of those, like, oh, yeah, it's like some dude named Adam. I'm like, you know, oh, Adam, where are you from? What's going on? I'm Sarah. It's nice to meet you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so it took a little while for me to figure this out, but within maybe like 10 minutes of realizing that he was in my group, I look up at, like, there are these banners hanging on the one, like, railing of the upper area of the conference center, and it's like 2012 winner, 2013, 14, and everyone who has won the Pinburg Tournament Division A finals has his name on a giant banner. And I'm like, oh, that's, like, real nice. Like, oh my gosh, what great recognition. So I'm looking up there and I'm just, like, checking it out, and all of a sudden I see, like, 2012 Pinburg winner, Adam Becker. Adam motherfucking Becker. Do you think I knew who Adam Becker was? No, I had no fucking clue, because I don't know. I don't know these things. So my group in the TTI, to sum it all up, was Raymond Davidson, Steve motherfucking Bowden, and fucking Adam Becker. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I am so fucked. I don't even know. I texted Dr. Pin like halfway through the first game, and I'm like, I think we should just leave. I think we should just go. I am so intimidated over here. I was freaking out, legit, like, kind of freaking out. And so they're talking a lot of trash, and, you know, it was all good-natured fun. And so, you know, they were saying, like, oh, yeah, you know, it's too bad you don't know how to play pinball, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, you know, it's like water off a duck's back. No worries here. I like, whatever. I know who I am and how I play, and that's whatever. It's fine. So the first game, I get totally spanked. Like, I am talking, the score of my score was the lowest. The next lowest score was like 7 times my score. I was like, okay, great. super awesome. I'm just going to circle my score on the score sheet, and it is not a good score. Not a good score at all. So that's the first game, okay? Now, Chuck took a little bit of pity on me and did say that we had to play EM games because, as you know, they are the great equalizing games. Though when you have pinball skills enough to potentially win or actually win Pinburg, it's not really going to matter what machine they put you on. You're probably going to be better than me, okay? So they're giving me quite a bit of shit. It's the Trash Talkers Invitational after all, and I'm standing there and I'm just like, all right. Made myself a fly swatter. It said, I made one for Laura Fraley and for Dr. Pintu. One of them said buzz off, one of them said take a hike, and one of them said shoe pest. So anytime anyone was really bothering me, I just whipped out my fly swatter. It was one of those like really cool retractable ones, and I would make it long, and then I would just like smack them or like smack around them so they would just go away and stop bothering me, right? So we go over to our second game, and I actually don't come in last place. I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know how this happened, but I actually score 2 points. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so much better than I thought, because I just thought I would get no points ever, like ever. So score 2 points, and I'm like, oh my God, guys, look at that. I didn't come in last place. Wait, didn't you guys come in like 5th and 8th and 12th this year in Pinburg? I didn't even play, but if I had played, I probably would have come in like 834th. I just beat you. Too bad. So I gave a little bit back to them, not like extensive, but just, a little bit. And if you really want to see this, you can go on to the Trash Talkers Invitational Facebook page. They did like a live feed, and you can see some of the awesomeness, because let me just tell you that it gets a little awesome. So we move on to this next game. I don't even know what the heck it was called. It was Red. It was a red old game. And I got to go second. We took turns going first, and we took turns picking the machines. And so I got to go second. And so I go up there, and I'm like, hitting the ball around, like flipping it and whatever. And I feel like I'm doing like okay. I feel like, I base how well I'm doing on how long my ball stays alive. And I have 2 tips when playing pinball. One of them is hit the thingy. And the other one is don't drain the ball. So, there's always something you're aiming for. There's always something that you're trying to hit. It's like a spinner. It's a scoop. It's a thingy. It's a big, Slimer in the middle of the Ghostbusters playing field. So it's something that you are trying to hit. So hit the thingy and don't drain are my 2 mottos during pinball. I think they're pretty good mottos. I'm just saying. So we get to this machine. I don't even know what it was, some older machine. And we start playing. And my first ball, I'm like, yeah, I feel pretty good. I feel like I did okay. I did pretty well. I lasted up here. I hit a bunch of really cool loops. I felt like, on these older machines, you're getting points when you go over like the rollover, like little wires that you roll over and they give you points, right? So I knew I was hitting a bunch of those. I knew I had hit a couple good loops in a row, and I hit this one left loop like 3 or 4 times right in a row consecutively. I just had the feeling, like you just feel. I knew right where to push the flipper, and I just felt like I did a really good job. So I feel like I'm doing pretty well, and then I look at my scores, and I the first time that I noticed it was actually when Raymond looked up at the scoreboard, and I had gone, and I think Adam Becker had gone, and so I was in the number 2 scoring spot, right? And I look up, and all of a sudden, I'm like, holy fucking shit. Is that my score? Are you freaking serious? And Raymond legitimately did a double take. It was the best freaking thing I've ever seen. He could not have been more surprised if I came up and hit him in the face with a brick. Truly. It was the best feeling ever. So I look up, and I'm like, oh my God. Oh, Adam Becker, Adam Becker of that flag hanging up there. Remember how you were telling me that I was a really bad pinball player? I was like, I'm going to use any excuse I can. So I knew that probably he would catch me in the balls to come. But I was like, I'm beating him right now, so I'm going to shove it right in his face, because he kind of shoved it in mine. And I was like, Adam, Oh my God, I don't know anything about pinball. Could you just tell me? I mean, aren't high numbers better than low numbers? Because my number is like 4 times your number. Like, eek! So it was hysterical. It was the best feeling ever. So then Steve plays, then Raymond plays, and long story short, in the end, guess who fucking won the game? It was me. It was me. So I'm staying there and I'm just like, oh my God. I was shaking. I was so freaking excited. I got 5 points, the most points that you could get. And I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, where's Dr. Pin? So I find Dr. Pin. I'm like, oh my God, Dr. Pin. These guys I'm playing with have kind of been like, giving me a little trash talk. Okay, it's the Trash Talker Invitational. That's fine. Okay, I can hang. But, gosh, babe, like David Raymondson, and Adam motherfucking Becker, and Steve Bowden, and guess who just spanked them? It was me, guys. It was me. Oh my God, I stole Chuck Webster. Sorry, I forgot to tell you this. I don't think you're going to be mad, but if you are, I can take a copy. I stole my score sheet at the end of the 4 rounds. I ended up with, so the most points you could get was 20 if you came in first in all 4 of your games, 5 points per game. I ended up, I want to say, with 12 points against Steve Bowden, Adam Becker, and Raymond Davidson. I am still shaking with joy. I am so freaking excited. I held my own. I was so proud of myself. I know it was probably a fluke, but I don't fucking care because I beat them all. And it was so legit. And I don't know. I mean, all of them were a little bit shocked, but Raymond, his face was fucking priceless. Like, I want to write one of those priceless commercials. Like, 4 pinball machines to play on. $4,000. A score sheet and a pen with which to write. $5. Beating the motherfucking pants off of 3 of the best pinball players in the world and watching their faces when you do it. Priceless. Motherfucking priceless. It was so good. I know I'm going on and on, but honestly, it was the best freaking feeling ever. So it just goes to show you guys, I kept saying to Martin and I kept saying to Laura Fraley, like, don't give up until the 3rd ball is finished, because all it takes is 1 ball. Because at the end of my first ball, I tilted. So I didn't even get my bonus, because when you tilt on these older machines, your bonus goes away, and that's where the big points are. So I didn't even get my bonus. Then I had a home ball, and then my last ball was like, normal Mrs. Pin, like I lasted like 2 minutes ball. So I just don't even know. It was the best. It was the best feeling. I was like, oh, this is like karma. It is coming back at you, boys, and I am here to play. Damn. Booyah. It was so freaking amazing. So in the end, the Mrs. Pin team did a really great job. We didn't come in last place, which I was like super psyched about. And it was just amazing. We ended up, Laura Fraley ended up in a group with Carl D'Angelo. I think his name's Carl D'Angelo. He's the nicest guy ever. He wore a Womp headband through the entire TTI because Martin made him, because Martin's the best. And he is the guy out in California who runs the Indisc tournament, which is another really huge tournament every year that is put on, and lots of people go and travel to California from all over the world to play in. So Laura Fraley had an Adam Becker moment and didn't know that this was Carl D'Angelo, and didn't realize that this was the Carl that she was playing with. It was the freaking cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. She was so embarrassed. I'm sorry I'm telling this story, Laura, but I have to. And it was just like, Carl was so freaking sweet. He was so flattered. He was so freaking cute. It was the cutest thing ever. And all of us played great games, and I was just so freaking excited and proud to be there. And we had so much fun. Even though we did not win, Marty's team ended up winning. He had Carl D'Angelo for one of his ringers and David Peck for the other one of his ringers. So he had some serious muscle. And Marty himself is no slouch when it comes to playing pinball. It's like really hard for me to think about picking a favorite part of this amazing weekend, but I think that the TTI takes the edge for me because the whole experience was so awesome. And afterwards, OMG, totally forgot.
So, Trash Talker Invitational Money. I mean, we haven't talked about it every single week like other podcasts have been, boasting and talking about how they're going to wipe the floor, and Jeff Teola saying, oh, I'm not going to enter, it's beneath me, and I am going to enter, and I'm going to rename these people because I can't compete myself, and I'll get Raymond Davis in the world's #1 player. So, and I'm going to get Adam Becker and all these, super top players. So, Marty, how did you go? Did you have any last minute issues?
What a loaded question that is. So, look, I did. So, here the criteria really was for my team, you had to be on the show. And if you were Australian and or New Zealand, then there's the double whammy. So I formed my group, and it was David Peck, Rhoda Dave, that's been on the show, and Jimmy Nails, that's been on the show twice. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Jimmy had to pull out at the last minute as a friend of his from in the States was only going to be there for a couple of hours, and it was during the Trash Talker, so he bowed out. So what was a guy to do? To look around and say, right, who else has been on our show that could come on?
That is here in front of me right now.
That is here, standing right in front of me, and is called Carl D'Angelo. So... it was really funny because I asked Carl, and Carl's like, I don't know. And I'm like, you know what? Ryan, this was the funniest thing. And he was like, oh, really? I don't know. And I'm like, come on. And he's like, oh, really? I don't know. And then I'm like, look, honestly, mate, you don't really know. You don't really have to. He's like, oh, but I do. It was the opposite of what I was doing. So in the end, I kind of just went, look, mate, don't worry about it, man. If you want to, you can, but, it's no big deal.
Negative.
He was in.
Yeah.
It was weird. The opposite. It was so freaking funny.
Marty, you used negative reinforcement on his ESP abilities.
I did. It was reverse psychology.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So that was funny. So we ended up, our team was myself, David, and Carl. And how it worked was, it was myself and 3 other people in a group. Then one of my ringers had their group, and the other ringer had their group, and you played 4 games, match play. The scores for each of the games were coming first was 5 points, then 3, then 2, then 1. And what's meant to happen is, as you're playing your ball, the other people in your group, and I'll stress the other people in your group, are meant to heckle you, okay, or do whatever they can to distract you from getting a good score.
Okay.
And here's what happened. And that's probably what would have happened all night, except one thing.
Okay.
And that was, the first game we played was Dialed In, picked by Nick from Buffalo Pinball fame. Mm-hmm. So my group was from Nick from Buffalo Pinball, Jeff Teolis from Pinball Profile, and Bruce Nightingale from Slam Till Podcast. My first ball on Dialed In was probably close to 1 million, mm-hmm, and went for so long that they walked away.
Okay.
They actually walked away because none of what they were doing was having any effect on me.
You stream and drink. You're used to all the distractions, Marty.
You know what I mean? This is it, right? It's like, guys, do your best because this is my wheelhouse right here. So I ended up on, I think, 2.2 million. So that game, in fact, right at the end, they said, please, just drain the ball so we can move to the next game because everybody's finished their round. We're still in our first game.
That's great trash talking, guys.
So well done. And that's pretty much what happened. I think the next game I didn't do so well. I can't remember what it was. And then we had, F-14 Tomcat, whatever it is. And bottom line is, I think I might have had 12 points in my team.
Mm-hmm.
Carl D'Angelo.
Yes.
How many points do you think he got? Out of a possible 20 points.
15?
20.
Oh, no.
He won every single one of his games. And
Nice.
I think David Pick might have got 11 points, so that's very respectable as well. So then you add up the three sheets.
Yep.
So my 12 points, Dave's 11 points, and Carl's 20 points. And then the top 4 podcasts then get into the finals, and whoever is the podcaster that represents them
Yep.
is in the finals.
Okay. So no... Okay, nice. And who are you in there with?
So it was me.
Yeah.
It was Jeff from the Pinball Players podcast.
Yep.
It was Taylor from this flipping podcast.
He's huge. I would not want to get into an argument with him.
No, he's pretty buff. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And we had Nick from Buffalo Pinball.
Okay.
And I'll tell you one thing about this trash talker is it's not meant to be taken seriously. The actual tournament itself.
Yep.
But the thing to know that I don't know whether they did it last year, but there was also a really good cause as well. So there was also money being raised for a charity of choice.
50 bucks each?
Well, not just that. Like I put $50 US in, but so did other people. But other people just started putting more and more money in.
Okay.
So all up, there was $620 US raised.
Nice.
And the winner got to choose a charity that it would go to. And also, Scott from Pin Stadium also donated a set of Pin Stadium lights to go to a pinball charity of choice.
Nice. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much, Scott, and thanks to everybody for donating, because $620 US is pretty good. So do you know what? I can't even remember what the games were that we played. There was an EM that I came first. Then we played. You played
that EM twice, I think. I was watching it on the stream. The second time there was just cash all over the glass. Oh, okay.
It's a different game.
They're all the same. They're all the same.
I picked High Roller Casino as my game, just
Why?
to shit everybody. And everyone was like, "Why have you picked this?" I'm like, "Shits and giggles." I came third.
Okay.
So basically, I won the first game, came third on the second game, won the third game, and then the final game, I think it was like an EM, and at that stage they put all the cash over the machine so you couldn't see the flippers.
Yeah.
I absolutely destroyed everyone.
Yes, I saw that. But you knew how to time your shots, and then when you didn't know, you were just kind of flipping left, right, left, right, left, right. It was a good strategy.
Yep. It worked well. So I won.
Nice.
I won, and I got a big trash can filled with all the money.
Please tell me you're going to bring that home and put it on your little trophy cabinet.
I can't be able to get through customs. There's no way. But no, so I chose Beyond Blue, which is an Australian charity that assists people with depression and suicide prevention, particularly in men who find it very difficult to express their feelings and do suffer from depression as well.
That's an Aussie trait, right? Keep Aussie men keeping their feelings inside. So it's a great charity.
It is a great charity. So it was actually kind of good that we got to give it to an Australian charity, and my Pin Stadium lights went to Project Pinball.
And I saw
they were stoked.
Yeah, I saw the post by Project Pinball, and they said Martin and Chuck Webster run a podcast. I didn't even bother saying anything. I just thought that was hilarious.
Yep, that's right. I didn't bother correcting them.
Chuck Webster, join in. He can be the new host. Chuck Webster, you bastard. Thanks also to Chuck Webster for organising that. That was
it was such a fun tournament.
He didn't really organise it. He was just the representative of the committee.
He was just one of the committee members, but he did apologise for the other committee members not being able to make it on the night, which was a shame.
So, Trash Talker Invitational money. I mean, we haven't talked. We haven't talked about it every single week like other podcasts have been, boasting and talking about how they're going to wipe the floor, and Jeff Teola saying, oh, I'm not going to enter, it's beneath me, and oh, I am going to enter, and I'm going to rename these people because I can't compete myself, and I'll get Raymond Davis in the world's #1 player. So, and I'm going to get Adam Becker and all these, super top players. So, Marty, how did you go? Did you have any last minute issues?
What a loaded question that is. So, look, I did. So, here the criteria really was for my team, you had to be on the show. And if you were Australian and or New Zealand, then there's the double whammy. So I formed my group, and it was David Peck, Rhoda Dave, that's been on the show, and Jimmy Nails, that's been on the show twice. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Jimmy had to pull out at the last minute as a friend of his from in the States was only going to be there for a couple of hours, and it was during the Trash Talker, so he bowed out. So what was a guy to do? To look around and say, right, who else has been on our show that could come on?
That is here in front of me right now.
That is here, standing right in front of me, and is called Carl D'Angelo. So it was really funny because I asked Carl, and Carl's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, you know what? Ryan, this was the funniest thing. And he was like, oh, really? I don't know. And I'm like, come on. And he's like, oh, really? I don't know. And then I'm like, look, honestly, mate, you don't really know. You don't really have to. He's like, oh, but I do. It was the opposite of what I was doing. So in the end, I kind of just went, look, mate, don't worry about it, man. If you want to, you can, but, it's no big deal.
Negative.
He was in.
Yeah.
It was weird. The opposite. It was so freaking funny.
Marty, you used negative reinforcement on his ESP abilities.
I did. It was reverse psychology.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
So, anyway. So that was funny. So we ended up, our team was myself, David, and Carl. And how it worked was, it was myself and 3 other people in a group. Then one of my ringers had their group, and the other ringer had their group. And you played 4 games, match play. The scores for each of the games were coming first was 5 points, then 3, then 2, then 1. And what's meant to happen is, as you're playing your ball, the other people in your group, and I'll stress the other people in your group, are meant to heckle you.
Okay.
Or do whatever they can to distract you from getting a good score.
Okay.
And here's what happened. And that's probably what would have happened all night, except one thing.
Okay.
And that was, the first game we played was Dialed In, picked by Nick from Buffalo Pinball fame. Mm-hmm. So my group was from Nick from Buffalo Pinball, Jeff Teolis from Pinball Profile, and Bruce Nightingale from Slam Till Podcast. My first ball on Dialed In was probably close to 1 million, and went for so long that they walked away.
Okay.
They actually walked away because none of what they were doing was having any effect on me.
You stream and drink. You're used to all the distractions, Marty.
You know what I mean? This is it, right? It's like, guys, do your best, because this is my wheelhouse right here. So I ended up on, I think, 2.2 million. So that game, in fact, right at the end, they said, please, just drain the ball so we can move to the next game, because everybody's finished their round. We're still in our first game.
That's great trash talking, guys.
So well done. And that's pretty much what happened. I think the next game I didn't do so well. I can't remember what it was. And then we had, F-14 Tomcat, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And bottom line is, I think I might have had 12 points in my team. Mm-hmm. Carl D'Angelo.
Yes.
How many points do you think he got? Out of a possible 20 points.
15?
20.
Oh, no.
He won every single one of his games. And
Nice.
I think David Pick might have got 11 points, so that's very respectable as well. So then you add up the three sheets.
Yep.
So my 12 points, Dave's 11 points, and Carl's 20 points. And then the top 4 podcasts then get into the finals, and whoever is the podcaster that represents them
Yep.
is in the finals.
Okay. So no. Okay. Nice. And who are you in there with?
So it was me.
Yeah.
It was Jeff from the Pinball Players podcast.
Yep.
It was Taylor from This Flipping podcast.
He's huge. I would not want to get into an argument with him.
No, he's pretty buff. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And we had Nick from Buffalo Pinball.
Okay.
And I'll tell you one thing about this trash talker is it's not meant to be taken seriously. The actual tournament itself.
Yeah.
But the thing to know that I don't know whether they did it last year, but there was also a really good cause as well. So there was also money being raised for a charity of choice.
50 bucks each.
Well, not just that. Like I put $50 US in, but so did other people. But other people just started putting more and more money in.
Okay.
So all up, there was $620 US raised.
Nice.
And the winner got to choose a charity that it would go to, and also Scott from Pin Stadium also donated a set of Pin Stadium lights to go to a pinball charity of choice.
Nice. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much, Scott, and thanks to everybody for donating, because $620 US is pretty good. So do you know what? I can't even remember what the games were that we played. There was an EM that I came first. Then we played. You played
that EM twice, I think. I was watching it on the stream. The second time there was just cash all over the glass. Oh, okay.
It's a different game.
They're all the same. They're all the same.
I picked High Roller Casino as my game, just
Why?
to shit everybody. And everyone was like, "Why have you picked this?" I'm like, "Shits and giggles." I came third.
Okay. Backfired.
So basically, I won the first game, came third on the second game, won the third game, and then the final game, I think it was like an EM, and at that stage, they put all the cash over the machine so you couldn't see the flippers.
Yeah.
I absolutely destroyed everyone.
Yes, I saw that. You knew how to time your shots, and then when you didn't know, you were just kind of flipping left, right, left, right, left, right. It was a good strategy.
Yep, it worked well. So I won.
Nice.
And I got a big trash can filled with all the money.
Please tell me you're going to bring that home and put it on your little trophy cabinet.
I won't be able to get through customs. There's no way. But no, so I chose Beyond Blue, which is an Australian charity that assists people with depression and suicide prevention, particularly in men who find it very difficult to express their feelings and do suffer from depression as well.
That's an Aussie trait, right? Aussie men keeping their feelings inside. So it's a great charity.
It is a great charity. So it was actually kind of good that we got to give it to an Australian charity, and my Pin Stadium lights went to Project Pinball.
And I saw
they were stoked.
Yeah, I saw the post by Project Pinball, and they said Martin and Chuck Webster run a podcast. I didn't even bother saying anything. I just thought that was hilarious.
Yep, that's right. I didn't bother correcting them.
Chuck Webster, join in. He can be the new host. Chuck Webster, you bastard. Thanks also to Chuck Webster for organising that. It was
such a fun tournament.
He didn't really organise it. He was just the representative of the committee.
He was just one of the committee members, but he did apologise for the other committee members not being able to make it on the night, which was a shame.
You guys enough. So then, later in the day, after finals were over, we had the TTI Podcasters Bloodbath. And this is where a bunch of podcasters got together, put on by Chuck Webster, to play in a trash-talking tournament. It didn't get started until about 10 o'clock because it took that long for finals to wrap up. After it's over, you have awards presentations, and Jeff Teolis, who a late entry into the Podcasters Bloodbath, was doing interviews, so we had to wait for him to come over. Once everyone was there, we kind of split off into groups, and it worked. We played let's see, I think it was 3 or 4 games. I don't remember how many, but we did one round, basically played like Pinburg. And I was paired, everyone got split off. So you had your teams, which made up of the podcaster or casters, and either 1 or 2 ringers that they had selected. Mine were Joe Lemaire and Steve Daniels. And so then that team gets split off into matched up with other team members. So in the first round, I was paired with Matt Gay, who was playing as a former Trash Talker Invitational winner at Chuck's place. So he puts on his own Trash Talker Invitational, and this is where this whole thing came from every year, and he had a team made up of winners of that. And so he was playing, representing that team. Yeah, I swear, Chuck made this up. A lot of this just made rules up as he went along. So, on my group was Matt, Stephanie Gaida, Pinball Princess of the Riptide Podcast,
and Matt from Rage Tilt.
So we were ready to go. I honestly don't remember some of the games we played. In fact, I don't think I remember any of the games we played. But I won my group. So I was the top scorer in my group. And combined between what Joe put up for a score, and I think I had a 14. It was a little different scoring. It was 5, 3, 2, 1. So you got points regardless. Rather than 3, 2, 1, 0, it's 5, 3, 2, 1. So you got bonus points if you came in first. So I had a 14. Joe had a 14. And I think Steve might have had a 12. I mean, we were all very close. So we were one of the top 4 teams as far as placing. I'm like, this is fantastic. I can't believe this. You know who wasn't? Pinball Program. The better Jeff made it to the finals. I'm kidding, Jeff. You know I love it. But it was fun to see that whole thing happen. So we go to finals. Now, in the finals, the teams that are there are Martin from Head to Head. Let's see, who else is there? Oh, Nick Lane from Buffalo Pinball, and Taylor Reese of This Flippin' Podcast, and me. And it was very interesting, to say the least, because it kind of evolved as it went along. First game we played, I think, I can't remember what that was. I remember what the second game was. Second game was picked by Martin. He picked Stern's High Roller Casino. And as soon as he did, groans from everybody. No, wow, seriously. I don't know why he picked that. I don't know if he's good at it or not. But guess who was good at it? This guy. I got into multi-ball, and it was jackpot, 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 jackpot. It went crazy, and I just kept hitting him and hitting him, and blew the thing up, came in first. I think I had a decent finish on the game prior. I think I was maybe second. So then I picked the next game, and I picked Time Fantasy, because usually I'm pretty good at it. Guess what I was not? Good at it. I finished last on that one. Normally, if I can get it trapped up, I can hit that lane when that 50,000, that 50K is lit, to get in the lane and light your time letters, and then get it into snail time, and no, none of that. None of it happened. So then we moved on to the final game on Hot Tip. And this is where things got crazy out of control. People are throwing money down, all the money from that was donated. We did this for charity, and the winner got to donate the money that was raised to charity. And we had everyone donated, and then just spectators were throwing money down, and it was Tommy dollars. And it started out with Tommy dollars. If you're not familiar with what Tommy dollars are, if you played Tommy, the pinball, you know how the blinders that come out? Well, the money acts as the blinders, and it stays there all the time. But these blinders, money, covered about a quarter of the playfield. So it was tough, but I'm telling you, the person that could make it happen was Martin. I don't know what it was, but somehow he was able to get that ball. I think he just flipped like crazy. I don't know how he did it, but was able to put up the high score. I struggled because I just couldn't see the flippers. It was crazy, but came in second with the whole thing, which I got to say, pretty proud of that. Second place out of the Trash Talker Invitational Podcast is Bloodbath. Now, that said, congratulations to Martin and Head to Head for winning. That said, I have heard that there could be some controversy with this. And when we talked to Nicole Bernier, the winner of the Women's International Pinball Tournament, Whipped, I'm going to ask her about this, because she along with Chuck, were the kind of the officials of this. And I believe that there was a rules violation from Martin or somebody on Martin's team. Now, not necessarily Martin, but somebody on Martin's team. There was a rules violation. And I'm wondering if by default... One other little side note that has nothing to do with you and winning Whipped. You were part of the Trash Talker Invitational as part of running it. You're kind of... In New England Pinball League, Chuck is the president of New England Pinball League. You're the vice president. And it kind of carried over a little bit with the Trash Talker. You keep him in line, basically.
Absolutely.
So he told me to ask you about this, about the Trash Talker, that there was a rules violation from head-to-head. Apparently, what he told me is someone on the head-to-head team was wearing headphones or earbuds or something, and that was against the rules.
That is absolutely against the rules of Trash Talker.
Do you know who it was?
I don't remember his name.
Okay.
But he was awfully mouthy when I went up and told him to take them out.
Really?
He was.
Okay.
He told me he always plays with them. So instead of just letting him get away with it, I made my way in between the two machines, next to where he was playing, and just kept talking. What are you going to hit next? Where are you going to aim? Don't drain the ball. Until he was so annoyed that he finally took them out and then rubbed them on the machine just to, throw a little...
Right. Okay, so we don't know who this was. If you ask me, I think that could be grounds for disqualification. And then the second place finisher in the Bloodbath would now become first place. That might just happen to be the Pinball Players Podcast.
Really?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that?
I know. I'm thinking that could possibly... I don't know. The committee will probably have to take this up.
The committee will have to put it under review. Absolutely.
The committee takes forever to make decisions.
Because, he took probably 3 or 4 minutes to take those earbuds out.
Yeah. I think you know what? That's disqualification. I will bring this I will also speak back to the chairperson and have him communicate with the committee and see if we can resolve this. And make my...
You're a fucking nerd. No one likes you. You're a fucking nerd. And no one likes you. You're a fucking nerd. You're a fucking nerd. Oh, Jacob, no one likes you. 'Cause you're a fucking nerd. Instead of T and A, you got GOT. Anime, Star Trek, D&D. You still quote high school geometry, and that's cool. Wait, no, it's not. And I do a couple of 8 balls before breakfast every day. I slammed up so much poon I made Wilt Chamberlain look gay.
Wilt Chamberlain, star center for the LA Lakers, famously slept with more than 20,000 women.
You're a fucking nerd. And no one likes you. You're a fucking nerd. And no one likes you. You're a fucking nerd. You're a fucking nerd. Oh, Jacob, no one likes you. 'Cause you're a fucking nerd. The only trophy you've got is some athlete shit. Your fantasies are all about Khaleesi's tits. You did have that one chick at summer camp. Oh, wait, no, she was fake. And I do so much blow, my goddamn eyeballs are on fire. I thought fucking angels, bro. Dude, I rape tigers. I rape tigers. I rape tigers.